A hypothesis test is a way of checking whether some effect we see in data is likely to be real, or whether it could just be due to chance. We do this by comparing two statements, called the null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis. The null hypothesis says there is no real effect, and any difference we see is just random chance. The alternative hypothesis says there is a real effect, and we use a test statistic calculated from the sample data to help us decide between the two. Here is a worked example. A coin is tossed 20 times and it lands on heads 15 times. We will test at the 5% significance level whether the coin is biased towards heads. Step 1 is to state the null and alternative hypotheses in full sentences. The null hypothesis is the coin is fair, so the probability of heads on each toss is 1/2. The alternative hypothesis is the coin is biased towards heads, so the probability of heads is greater than 1/2. Step 2 is to find the probability of getting the result we saw, or something more extreme, if the null hypothesis were true. In plain words, this means the probability that the number of heads is 15 or more out of 20 tosses, assuming the coin is fair. In symbols, this is written as the probability that x is greater than or equal to 15, given that the number of tosses is 20, and the probability of heads is 0.5, and this works out to be 0.0207. Step 3 is to compare this probability to the significance level. The significance level is 0.05. Since 0.0207 is smaller than 0.05, the result is significant. Step 4 is to state the conclusion in context, using the language of the original problem. There is evidence at the 5% significance level that the coin is biased towards heads. Now for the check step. We confirm that the conclusion has been written in context, referring to the coin and the direction of bias, rather than just stating a bare symbolic result. Since our final sentence talks about the coin being biased towards heads, and not just about a probability being small, the conclusion passes this check.